Hi, welcome to today's Voice of Greatness broadcast. My name is Joel Bryant and I'm your host. And on today's broadcast, I want to take a few moments and speak with you about something that I call the density of greatness. Now, when you hear the term density, you tend to think of mass, something that's compacted and compounded, that's designed to absorb and to resist friction or to absorb some type of impact that would impede its motion toward a destination. And guess what? You and I must have a critical mass in our person, in our beings, if we're going to make a successful ascent to the summit of success. That means we have to be thick in the middle, because you're going to encounter many things that are going to discourage, that are going to try to dissuade you from believing that it is possible and it is practical to achieve your dreams. And if you don't have the proper density, guess what? You're going to allow adversity to deny you the right and the privilege of achieving your goals and dreams. And there are so many people today who began well, who had a lot of zeal, they had a lot of commitment, and they had a lot of excitement, but somewhere along the way, they encountered a failure, a circumstance that they did not have the ability to absorb and to resist. And they can point to that circumstance as a place where I lost my passion, I lost my commitment, I lost my pursuit of the thing that I used to dream of. And that is so important today, because there are so many people that have talent and ability and experience and know-how and ingenuity. They have all these features that in the right place could be called qualities, and then it could be called assets. But an asset becomes a liability when you no longer know how to employ and deploy it to help you achieve your dreams and your goals. So I want to encourage you today. You have to have the ability to be dense. That means have the ability, the willingness to absorb and resist the temptation to quit. Because in this culture, we always prize and praise potential. And I always say potential is nothing. What matters is performance. Your ability to get in the landscape of life and execute and demonstrate through consistency your value to the culture, to yourself, and making this world and your world a better place. And the people that we see who are what we call household names, those people have a critical mass. They have the ability to absorb impact, to absorb a punch. Or as I think there was a commercial a long time ago, I think it was about Timex watches. They take a licking, but they keep on ticking. And I want to ask you today, are you still ticking, or are you ticked off because you lost your passion? Well, that's okay. If you did do that, it is not too late. You may not be able to do the same dream, but you can dream again. And it's all about choosing today to, number one, how do you develop your ability to have a critical mass, or to be massive, to have density, to be thick in the middle, to be able to take a licking and keep on ticking so you don't become ticked off. And now we have people walking around who are time bombs because they are mad because life did not grant them their aspirations. One thing you have to do, you have to choose to rebuild. Can you imagine those people in New Orleans a few years ago who were affected by Katrina, who had their lives uprooted and deracinated and destroyed by a circumstance that they could not control and that some people were irresponsive to and irresponsible in? They had to literally move from one city, one state to another state with nothing and start over. And sure, there was the Red Cross and some other social services and some other social nets that caught those people, but generally those people did not get enough assistance to recreate the life that they had. And so they had to have the ability to rebuild. They were forced to rebuild, but most of them, if they were smart and if they were massive and they had density, they chose to stop lamenting their loss and begin to build their life. That is so important. If you are going to achieve greatness, if you're going to ascend to the summit of success, you have got to learn how to stop lamenting your loss and start rebuilding your life. And that is so critical. Just that alone will change your attitude, it'll change your outlook, and it'll change your outcome, because you begin to get insight about what you can do in your present circumstance to make it more desirable, to advance your interests, and so that you can begin to achieve more of your dreams. As I said before, people are smart. I know a lot of talented people. But let me tell you this. We can have talent, But if we aren't temperate, we will not achieve our dreams. If you have talent, but you aren't temperate, you will not achieve your dream. What do I mean by temperance? I mean the ability, the willingness to manage your emotions so that you don't allow yourself to talk yourself out of your dreams. That is so important. Because see, people who are talented tend to be temperamental. Because they think, well, I have this ability, I have this quality, I have this feature, I have this asset. Why is it not paying off? And so they get mad and they quit. And they begin to lament their loss. And they stop building their lives. And they begin to form a community of quitters. They begin to develop a philosophy of quitting. They begin to have a psychology of quitting, even a religion of quitting, because they don't understand that if you're going to achieve your dreams and your goals and your aspirations, you have got to be dense. That means you got to have an emotional six-pack. That when something impedes and impinges and impacts you in a negative way, you have got to say, you know what? I may need to rest for a moment. I may need to catch my breath, but I will not lose my boldness. See, great people say, I'm going to rebuild by not lamenting my loss. I'm going to build my life. I'm going to make sure I have the temperance to go along with my talent. And the final thing is they have the ability to reinvent. See, those people in Katrina had to reinvent themselves. Most of those people were defined by where they lived, who they knew, where they worked. But because of that hurricane, that massive destruction, they had to reinvent themselves. That means creating a new narrative, a new normative, and new norms. And if you do that, if you're willing to rebuild, if you're willing to stop lamenting your loss and start building your life, and then begin to rebirth or reinvent yourself by getting a new narrative, to have new normatives, it is only a matter of time before your talent and your temperance allow you to triumph. I want to encourage you today. This is a wonderful time we live in, the age of opportunity. But it also needs to be an age of optimism. Don't allow the things that happen in your life to make you lose your density. Don't allow adversity to weaken your density. See failure as an opportunity to reinforce your commitment to achieving your greatness. And if you do that, I believe that you and I will have the greatest lives that we ever imagined. This has been the Voice of Greatness broadcast. My name is Joel Bryant. Until next time, have a greatness week, because you can.